at this point, you're doing 6 months. Now, when you look back on the history of what led up to this, we're all adults here. I understand that the things they were asking you to do, you didn't like, but at the end of the day, they make the rules, right? You could say the rules aren't fair, but the rules are laid out in a certain kind of capacity. In retrospect, do you feel like, okay, well, I wasn't gonna go work at McDonald's, but maybe I could find like a friend that can give me a 40-hour per week job to do something maybe sports related and, put me on the books and so forth. Like I could have, I'll be honest, if you came to me.
I did all that. I did all that. So before this point of me actually.
Yeah, let me just say this. If you came to me and you said, Vlad, I have a situation and I need a 40-hour per week job or else I'm going to jail. Could you do something? Pay me minimum wage and find something for me to do and just sign off these papers? I would have done it if I would have known. I had no idea. But I would have put you, I have there's employees surrounding the office right now as we're doing this interview. I have full-time employees. I have a staff of about 10 people. I could have potentially put you on payroll and had you like do interviews and kind of show that maybe you had daily work. So instead of like one-stop shop where you get one check, it'll show an actual salary and so forth. We could have worked something out. I would have totally done that if I had any idea this is what you were going through, but you never told me.
They feel the same way. They know that everything that they was asking of me was a phone call away from me, and they was wondering why I wasn't making that phone call. But maybe that was my ego. Like, I ain't want nobody to go lie about me doing no motherfucking community service when I really did the most community service. Like that, I showed you I built my projects over. I worked with Eric Adams and Mark Trigger and people that's really running New York City. I did so much, so my ego was like so ahead. Like what community service? Like I don't know. I'm off that.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, as someone that's known you now for a little while, done multiple interviews and had conversations, I feel bad. Like when I saw that, that news thing, like I hit you right away. I'm like, is this true? And you're like, yeah. I was like,
and then I got my babies. I got my babies. That's a whole nother side story.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, keep on moving the loophole. This is a victimless crime. But the fuck all that.
So hold on. And I did all of that. By the time we get to this point where they sending me away, I did all that on paper. That was one phone call. I got hired a job to shit, all that. I did all that, Vlad. They didn't give a fuck. They, like my brother said, they want to break and need to break my spirit.
Facts. That's what it's designed to do. And that's what I'm showing them.
So it's a certain way that I'm able to go on with my life. They don't want me to, they don't want me here saying here getting paid for Vlad. They don't want that. They don't want that. I showed them that, Vlad. You think I ain't showed them? You think I didn't show them that? You crazy? And I knew that. I knew if I would have asked you that.
They never called me.
I know. They did not care about that.
Nobody ever called me to confirm. I can guarantee you that.
No, I'm telling you, they was not accepting it. They looked at it like, okay, we hear what you're saying, but they wasn't accepting that as a job or employment in any type of way. In any type of way. They was not, they're like, no, hell no. You ain't fill out no application to get that. They're like, no, so you will not continue to earn from your fruit from basketball and all that. They want to shut that off. And now I gotta be like, and I ain't dissing nobody, but like a lot of people whole MO is, I'm in jail. I've been out of jail. I'm in jail. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know where that ceiling is there for me with that. I don't want to be that. And then I'm upset that I really did do a lot of good work for them to be putting me in jail for this bullshit. Like, it's bullshit. But I want to definitely not be so personal, because when you ask me no questions like that, it is fetish. You know what I'm saying? Because you making it where it's like kind of personal with the judge, mentioning her name and shit like that. I don't got nothing personal against the judge. I got my babies that I care about. I don't want to be taking nothing personal with somebody that's holding me by my balls for victimless crimes type of shit. Now, I understand if it was like, you know what I'm saying? I understand if it was like the shits, but this is like talking about the NBA. But you're talking about the NBA. You're talking about the NBA. Fuck the NBA.
Well, look, Sebastian, you're 40 years old. 6 months is not a lot of time.
But it's still, that's a lot of time away from my babies.
Right? Yeah, I'm about to say.
I'm super daddy.
Say that to a 3-year-old.
I'm super daddy. I don't have
a 3-year-old that depend on you. tell her for 6 months you can't have that. You can't have that. You know what I'm trying to say? So you act like it's not enough. I don't really like that to dismiss it like that, but I understand though.
I'm not dismissing. I'm just saying the grand scheme of things. At 40 years old,
Not
doing
only
6
you,
months,
I'm just talking about
a
they.
lot of people are way worse off. Like Big Baby, who's doing like 3 years.
I agree. But I don't want to really rebuttal against that. But like I said, I don't think Big Baby ego is where mine is when it comes to what he gave back. And I said this to the NBA. I said, y'all got niggas in there y'all gave $400 million to, ain't do the shit I gave back. Ain't wasn't on y'all phone calling to get assistance for my community the way I did. And the NBA physically did all that shit with me. Every time I did a basketball court and I spent $20,000 of my money, NBA giving me $20,000. You know what I'm saying? We did mad work. So I'm looking at them like, we're like, what is this? And how did we end up here? This shit is retarded.
Well, look, man, keep your head up. You'll get through it. You'll come out. And, you know, every negative situation has a positive aspect to it if you look at it that way. So, yeah, you got to sit down for 6 months, but that'll give you a chance to really think and reevaluate over those 6 months. You know, you're not going to be, you know, you won't have anything else to do. You won't have to multitask. You could just sit there and focus on yourself and come out a better person. And, you know, I think that's the way you got to look at it, as opposed to, you know, being frustrated with the situation, because 6 months will pass fairly quickly, man.
I agree. Shit could definitely be a lot worse, but this was simple. This is simple shit. I got to get my shit together, point blank. This is all paperwork. This is all. The truth is, I have to make my life about me being on probation. That's the real truth. I could be in there and they got me upside down, torturing me, right? The second I walk out of the courtroom, I fucking call my babies and get back to my family, I forget about that. And now I just gotta just make everything about my probation, and so I could get through this and we can move on. Because my family, I'm stagnating my whole entire family.